Welcome, everybody. My name is Andrew Patricio, and over the last 21 or so years, I've been educating and training business owners. And I find that often, when I say to small business owners, you do some planning, they always think this needs to be complicated. It needs to be complicated. It needs to be a comprehensive document. And I've realized that with so many distractions that we have nowadays, the simpler the planning tools, the better they are for you. And that's the reason I've come up recently with some really simple planning tools that you can use. And today I'm going to share with you is my marketing plan one. And I really like this one. First of all, because I designed it, and secondly, because it's just so simple, and that's why I like this, and I'm going to share that with you today. So keep that in mind. The objective here is to improve your marketing. So here's this beautiful template I've created. You'll see that it's got different sections for your business. And on the first section, you're going to discuss what are your marketing objectives. The second one, who are your target customers. The third section, who are your competitors. The fourth one, what is your value proposition. Really, you need to think about this as a business owner. What value do I offer customers? Because that's what they are buying. The fifth thing, what marketing tools am I going to use over the next 12 months to grow my business? The sixth one is what am I going to do when it comes to customer service? And I purposely put customer service separately because often I just think of it really as a marketing tool. But what I find that often in small business, our expectations are that we're going to get great customer service. That's our expectations. The reality is often very different. And we've got to be very, very careful of this as business owners, that we are every now and then not giving customers the services they expect and deserve. So this is why I separated. The seventh one is your lead nurturing strategy. So what are you going to do over the next 12 months to get more leads? You know, how are you going to follow up? What tools are you going to use? Those are the type of things I'm thinking about. The eighth and the ninth things in this template are the budget. So how much money are you going to spend every month as a percentage of your revenue on marketing? And then what are your metrics? So how are you going to measure the effectiveness of your marketing? Because one thing you've got to be very, very careful of, spending money is the easy part. Getting results is the difficult part. And that's ultimately what you want to do, is you want to get results. So let's start off with the first section. And I encourage all of you to think about this. You know, what are your objectives for 2018? Obviously, you want to increase sales. So maybe I should even remove that one from there because that's an obvious one. But you want to increase your sales. Or if you don't want to increase your sales, at least maintain the sales that you've generated in 2017. The second thing you want to do is maybe diversify your lead source. And this could be one of your strategies. Maybe you're starting to think about, maybe do some Facebook marketing. Maybe you're starting to think about doing some LinkedIn ads. Maybe you're starting to think about putting ads in your local newspapers or developing some flyers that you're going to distribute in your community. Whatever it is, you've got to think about these things. You've got to think about them and really focus on what are the things that you're going to use in 2018 to grow your business. But trying to identify exactly what your marketing objectives are the starting point. The third thing you may decide to do, and again, each one of us will have different objectives. The third thing may be to increase our email database. Like I said to you earlier on, one of our goals in 2018 is to increase our database by another 15,000 names. And really what we're going to try and do as much as possible is to get more small business owners to sign up for our weekly emails and to really join these webinars, learn from them, understand how it is to grow their businesses. That is going to be one of our objectives. So I need to work out a strategy of how am I going to be doing that. And then those are the steps that I go through. The other one you may decide to do is to really do a great job on social media. Because what I find with a lot of us, including myself, is when social media first launched, when I'm thinking about things like Twitter and Facebook, a lot of us were all excited. We were all gung-ho. This was a great way to market our business. then a lot of these tools or these applications started changing. And some of us realized that, you know what, this is not just a place for you to get free marketing. And now I think it's almost like maturing. And for some of us, we're getting better results than we were getting before, and others of us are struggling. But the one thing you can't get away from is that you really want to create a community around your business. And I think community is so, so important. I will go as far as saying that before you launch a new business, and let's say you want to launch a new business, and I'm looking at a couple of options for 2018, but let's say I want to launch a new business in a different city. One of the first things I want to try and do is to build community. And one of the easiest ways to do it is to build it on social media. Start connecting with people in the region, start creating a Facebook group or LinkedIn group or Twitter following, whatever it is. And this may be one of your objectives for 2018, is that you're going to build this community online. And the other one could be improve your brand identity. But this is what I encourage you to do. I don't want you to look at my list and think, well, these are the things that I need to do. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to think about your business. Think about what's important for you when it comes to marketing and focus on those things. So come up with some objectives for your business in 2018. Because really it's about identifying the challenges and then developing a plan to solve those problems. That's really what we are doing as business owners. You know, often when I speak to business owners, I say that the two things that we are good at as business owners, two things. One of them is managing projects, and the other one, managing projects and people, and the other one is relationships. Those are the two key things that I think we're quite good at as business owners. And again, I'm generalizing, but most of us are quite good at that. Then some of us are good at marketing and some of us are good at financials and things like that. But those two key things are things that we work on all the time, making decisions, solving problems. So one of your objectives are to identify, really be very, very clear for yourself, is what is happening? What is happening that I need to change? What do I need to do to ensure that my business succeeds in 2018? And by listing your marketing objectives, that's really going to help. So I encourage you to do that. So start off by listing exactly what your marketing objectives are. The second thing you want to do, and for some of you, this actually may be the first thing you want to do, but you really want to identify very, very clearly, and this is key, you've got to be very clear on who your customers are. And I encourage you to do this exercise, all of you, is start going through your invoices for the last 12 months and start trying to understand who these customers are. You know, how old they are they male or female, if you're selling to businesses, you know, what businesses are they from? Because one of the things you want to try and identify is you want to try and identify commonalities. That's the thing you want to do. Because once you know who your customer is, then you can develop marketing tools to go after them. And that is really the key thing, is the most successful businesses out there have a very, very clear idea, of which customer they can supply better than anybody else. And this is what you need to know. Because once you can identify your ideal customer, your perfect customer, the customer that you can supply better than anybody else, your next thing is to target them, is to hang out where they hang out, is to do those type of things. And that is what makes us successful business owners. But the starting point is identifying who these people are. You know, coming up with things that are common. You know, what are the demographics? What are the psychographics? If it's a business, you know, what are the commonalities? And I came up with that word business graphic because I thought if I come up with words, maybe people will think I'm intelligent. And I thought it's a wonderful word when you're selling to businesses. So what is the profile of the business you're going to sell to? How much revenue do they do? How many employees do they have? What is their budget? the more information you can get, the better it is for you. And this is why it's really key that you go through who your current customers are, and then almost like rate them, you know, from 1 to 5. These are my favorites, and it could be a couple of reasons. Could be because they pay on time, could be because they're friendly, could be because they give you great testimonials, could be whatever the reasons are. The more clarity you have, the better it is. So think about that. Can I come up with a profile of my customers, whether they consumers or businesses? What are their needs? And this is really, really key that you understand this. That those of us that build successful businesses usually do so because we understand our customer. We understand what their needs are. We understand what products they want. We understand what services they want. So you've really got to understand this. The other thing you've got to think about is what influences their purchasing decision. And this is really a key thing, you know, because if your customers are very, very price focused, which is not the customers I like, but if your customers are really price focused, you need to think about this. You know, if your customers focus mainly on quality or credibility or, you know, longevity of the product or whatever it is, these are things that are really, really key, is that you really need to understand what influences your customers' decisions. And for a lot of us nowadays, it's sometimes just the fact that we're a small business. Other times it's because we locally source our products. Other times it's because we eco-friendly. Other times it's because we offer a turnkey service. Whatever it is, you need to try and understand that. Because the more you understand your customer, the more effective your marketing is going to be. And this is what you've got to understand as a business owner. It's really understanding your customer. Where do your customers go to seek information about your business? Think about this. When your customers want to buy your product or service, what do? Do they read reviews? Do they look at testimonials? Do they go to Facebook? Do they go to Twitter? Do they go to Instagram? Do they listen to the radio? Do they ask their accountant? Do they speak to their consultants? These are the type of questions you need to understand. Because when you can identify where they go and get information about your product or service, you can then start creating content and share it where they hang out. Or let's say, for example, if it was they get advice from their accountant. Let me give you an example. Let's say I sell accounting software. And I don't, but let's say I did sell accounting software. One of the ways that I could market my accounting software is to maybe build a relationship with accountants. Build up a relationship with accountants because that's where small business owners go to when they want to buy accounting software. So really understanding what drives your customer, really understanding what motivates your customer, really understanding where do they go to get advice, guidance when they buy your product or service is going to really help you. And this last point on the slide is a very, very important one. Is that the more you know about your customers, the better. And this is something we've got to learn to do, is we've got to learn to do research. We've got to learn to ask questions. And the more questions you ask, the better business owner you're going to become, the better products you're going to create, the better services you're going to create, the better content you're going to create, because you understand what your customers want. And it's really key that we understand what our customers want. Here's an example. I found this tool on the internet, and any one of you could do the same thing on this website, and it creates this graphic. It creates this graphic of your customer, speaking about their age, speaking about what their responsibilities are, speaking about their company size, whatever it is. And if you could create something like this for your business, let me tell you what's going to happen, is if you can create something like this for your business, it's going to make you a better marketer. But if you're using somebody else, let's say somebody's creating Facebook ads for you, or let's say somebody's doing your search engine optimization, or let's say somebody's creating Google ads for you, you can then go to them and say, this is my customer. This is where he hangs out. This is what influences his decisions. This is how old he is. All of these things make you a better marketer. So you've got to understand, you really, really got to understand who your customer is. And when you understand who your customer is, it's going to make you a better business owner. So maybe that's one of the exercises you need to focus on, is really understanding your customer. Really, really understanding your customer. And I want you to know that this is going to make you a better marketer. When you start identifying who your customer is, you start identifying where they hang out, and that's when you start marketing more effectively to them, because you really understand what their needs are. So that's the second block. The third one are your competitors. As a business owner, you really need to understand this part, is who are your competitors? Because what happens as our businesses grow, as our businesses evolve, some of us just don't spend enough time really understanding who our competitors are. What are they doing? How are they marketing? And you've got to be very, very careful of this. Because if you don't know who they are, if you don't know what their strengths and weaknesses are, what's going to happen is they're going to come up with new products or services that that you didn't even think about. And this is really key that you regularly do this. And one of my favorite examples that I give small business owners is when you get a quote. Let's say I'm working in one of my offices, and let's say I wanted to paint this office. So I've decided I want to employ a small business owner to come and paint my office. And let's say I get two different quotes. The one person gives me a quote for $300 to paint my office, and somebody else gives me a quote for $800 to paint my office. Which one would I choose? Let me tell you what had happened to me. If that was the situation, I would not know who to choose. And the reason I would not know who to choose is because the variation is too much. You know, the difference between $300 and $800, $800 is nearly triple $300. It's nearly 3 times the amount. So I would be thinking maybe the $800 person is charging me too much, or thinking that the $300 person doesn't really know what they're doing. So that would be the dilemma I'd be facing, is who should I choose? But if I got two quotes from two different small business owners, one for $600 and one for $800, it would make my decision easier. And this is why understanding your competitors is really, really key. You've got to understand them. You've got to understand what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses, because this is really, really key. You've got to capitalize on the weaknesses, and you've got to make their strengths your strengths. So, or do it better than them if you can. The third thing you want to try and understand is, and this is going to happen to you, you will go to, let's say you go to a sales call, you meet somebody, and you tell them what you do and how you can help them, and they tell you that they're buying from the competitors. One of the questions you should always ask is why. What is it that they do that is unique? What is it that they do that is different? What is it that they do that is special? And as a business owner, you want to really understand this. You want to understand this because then you can implement those things in your business. And you can say to a potential customer, if I did those things, would you look at buying from us, or would you allow us to give you a quote? So this is why it's really key that you try and understand what customers are saying about your competitors without judging. You've got to be very, very careful of this. You don't want to be bad-mouthing or saying things that you shouldn't say about your competitors, because that's unprofessional. How do your competitors market their products and services? So this you need to be checking on a regular basis. Go to their website, see what they are doing. Go, ask, for example, there's a lot of tools that you can use online nowadays to check what keywords they are using to maybe rank higher than you. These are the type of things you need to be doing, which are really, really key. What does their Facebook page look like? What are their flyers? How often do they distribute to them? If they do email marketing campaigns, how regularly do they send out these things? This is what you want to try and understand, because the more you understand about your competitors, the better it is for you. You can then take those things and make them your strengths. So really understand how they market their products or services. How much do they charge? And again, that example I gave you earlier on is so common, where small business owners undercharge. And the reason they undercharge is because they do not know their competitors' selling prices. You've got to know your competitors' selling price. And you've got to review this on a regular basis, really understand it. And who are their target customers? Again, so you really need to understand your competitors. Who are they? What are their strengths and their weaknesses? What do people say about them, the customers that love them or that buy from them? How do they market their products or services? And this will require a bit of research. How much do they charge? And understanding who their customers are. And really the objective here is to really understand your customer. For those of you that want to learn how to become better marketers, this is a great podcast. And hopefully some of you have watched it. It's called Marketing School, and it's by a guy called Neil Patel. And I encourage you that every now and then just sit down, especially now over the holidays, that you've got an opportunity to relax and maybe just unwind a little bit, is let's educate ourselves. Let's educate ourselves and become better marketers. And I've learned a bunch of things from, I just get his emails on a daily basis, and I've learned a bunch of things from him. He's really, really a good marketer, and he thinks like a small business owner, which I think is a big advantage. So I encourage you to check it out. Listen to a couple of podcasts on marketing. The other thing is, what is your value proposition? And this is something that all of us need to think about. And it's really, really key that we think about this, is why should people buy from us? What is it that we do that is unique? What is it that we do that is special? What is our product to solve? What problem does it solve for our customers? We've really got to understand this, because if your customers or if your potential customers do not choose you over your competitors, you're not going to survive. So it's really, really key to try and identify what drives and what motivates your customer. And usually it's things like convenience. It's things like reliability. Those are the type of things that customers want to hear. They really want to hear these things. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of brands that you and I have maybe been exposed to, and the things that they do that makes them really, really unique. So on the top left-hand side here, some of you probably use MailChimp. And there's their value proposition. Send better email, sell more stuff, which is just a simple thing, but a very, very important thing, that if you use our product, you are going to create better emails. And if you create better emails, you're going to sell more products or services, which is a really, really powerful value proposition. It's the reason you and I want to use email as a marketing tool, because we want to generate more sales. So I really like that example on the left-hand side. The other one on the bottom right-hand side, Unbounce. And again, it's about getting sales. You know, build landing pages fast and get more conversions. And really, that's what we want. You know, when we're marketing, we want to make sure that the tool, the app, or the whatever it is that we are using makes it easier for us to get more leads. And really, you know, ease is quite an important thing, especially for small business owners. Stuff that is simple to use, stuff that is simple to set up. These are the type of things that we want. Or one of my favorites on the bottom left-hand side, a great shave for a few bucks a month. Again, listen to that value proposition. This is what customers buy. They buy MailChimp because they want to send out great emails and sell more stuff. They buy Unbounce because they want to build great landing pages and get more conversions. What is your thing? Why should people use your stuff? That's the question you need to answer. And then you need to repeat that over and over again. So customers really, really understand. Customers really understand what you do that is unique, special, and different. The next thing you need to focus on, which is really key, are what marketing tools are you going to use in 2018 to get more customers? And yeah, I want you to be specific. And I'm going to encourage you to choose 3 or 5, ideally 3. Choose 3 marketing tools and focus on those. Do those better than anybody else. And this is what you're going to be very, very careful of, is because this is what happens to us. We start using social media and email marketing and the telephone and LinkedIn and this and that, and we don't do anything properly. And you're going to be very, very careful of this, because marketing is about doing something well and do it consistently. That is what marketing is about. So for some of us in 2018, using the telephone is the most important thing. Let me just say something to you. If you are selling to older consumers, you've got to understand that the telephone is still the most effective marketing tool for them, because that is how they've always communicated. That is, for a lot of them, that is their email. So it's really key that you understand this as a business owner, is that understanding your demographic, understanding your customer, and sometimes going back to traditional tools like the telephone is the answer, where you regularly pick up the phone, you phone clients, say, hi, how you doing, what's happening, how can we help you? It's really about building relationships, because you and I know that nowadays the telephone doesn't ring. And if it does ring, we don't always answer it, because it's not really a tool that people use on a regular basis. But maybe for your customers, this is an opportunity. When it comes to email, I really like email. Those of you that get my weekly email, do you know why I send those weekly emails? Because they work. And over the next few weeks, you're going to get 1 a week, and we're going to be doing some research, try to understand small businesses. And the reason I really like email marketing is because you can create beautiful emails, really beautiful marketing materials. That's one of the things. But the second reason I like email marketing is that you can measure the effectiveness. You know, I can see that yesterday I sent out emails at 9:15 in the morning. I can tell how many emails I sent out. I can tell how many of you opened the email, and I can tell how many of you clicked on the links. And for me, this is really, really key, because I want to know what's working. And I still find email marketing one of the most effective ways to communicate. And that's the reason you are on this webinar, because you got an email from BizLaunch, somebody that hopefully you like and trust, that invited you to this event. So you've got to understand the power of email marketing. The other thing is networking. You know, this is my advice to you, is that some of us, when we start our business, we do a lot of networking. And then we get, I don't want to say tired of it, because I don't know if you get tired of it, but we don't do it as well anymore as our businesses grow. And maybe that's one of your strategies for 2018, is what you're going to do is you're going to identify events where your customers hang out. You are going to go to these events. You're going to ask these people what they do. And more importantly, you're going to share what you can do for them. And this is what you've got to understand. For some of us, going back to traditional ways of marketing is the answer in 2018. Is maybe not spend so much time on social media, maybe not spend so much time sending out emails, but really understanding our customer and identifying where do we get our leads from, where do our best deals come from. We got to go and find that out. Other things you can do is there are so many free tools you can use nowadays. There's free email marketing tools. They are free customer relationship management tools. And I encourage you to be creative. You know, at last week's webinar, I discussed some free things you could do. We could run free seminars, do some free demonstrations. You know, things like that often work really, really well. So maybe now's the time to sit down as a business owner and start thinking about what marketing tools are you going to use in 2018 to generate more leads. And sometimes just doing free stuff works. When it comes to social media, I believe we need a plan. I really believe we need a plan. And if we have a plan, our social media is going to be more effective. But it's really about creating a plan. And finally, our websites. We've gone on a very interesting mission over these last few months, actually, probably from about July, where we've totally redesigned the BizLaunch website. And it's a very, very simple website now, which makes me very, very happy. We had quite a complicated website that got thousands of visitors, and now we've changed to a WordPress, very simple technology. And one of our goals over the next 12 months is to now build this up, now to create more inbound links, now to put more content on there, now to start measuring stuff. But really, that is a decision you make as a business owner, that you've got to come up with a plan. You can't just do things without a plan, because then you're going to have chaos. The other thing when it comes to social media is be structured. You know, maybe come up with a really simple plan like I've got on the screen here, is that in 2018, we're going to post 3 times a day on Facebook. We're going to post 4 times a day on Twitter. We're going to create 1 video a week. We're going to post twice a day on Pinterest, maybe twice a week on Instagram, once a week on LinkedIn, whatever it is, but come up with a plan. I find that when we use plans, we're more effective because we have a system, we have a process, we have structure, and this is what your marketing needs. Your marketing needs a system. Your marketing needs a process. Your marketing needs structure, and that's really key. Here's a great example of a tool you can download I found for you, is a social media strategy tool. So there's 7 of them here. So there's no excuse. Go to this link, and remember the slides on the right-hand side of your screen. Go to this link, download this tool, and start using it. Come up with a structure, especially those of you that, social media is an important part of your marketing. For 2018, create structure. That's really what you want to be doing. Then your email list. You know, one of the key questions that you need to answer if you decide that you're going to be using an email, for your marketing in 2018, is firstly decide on the platform you're going to use. So that's the starting point. What platform am I going to use? Secondly, make sure that you have a sign-up form on your website so that people can give you their email address. Put up a sign-up form at the bottom of each blog post if you have a blog. Create a Facebook tab so people can have a sign-up form. Share a link to your sign-up form on your social media. But the idea here is you've got to grow your database. Or like BizLaunch, maybe start running webinars. Start running free webinars and start building up your database. Really start building up your database of people that know, like, and trust you, and it's going to help you grow your business. And what should you be sharing when you're sending out emails? Share some guides on how people should do things. Share some interviews. Maybe interview a customer every week. Maybe create some videos, short 30-second videos that you can send out. Maybe some infographics on some research you've done and some curated content. But the most important thing here is that you do something, that you plan. You decide, I'm going to grow my list, and the way I'm going to grow my list is by sending people really good content, because that's when people sign up to your list, when you send them really, really good content. The other thing that is really key that I believe that you and I need to work on is work on our subject lines. And here's a very, very good example. I've shared on the screen here with you a list of subject lines that are great, that are excellent, that really work. Go and check these out. create your own subject lines. When you create an email campaign, go through your own subject lines and make sure that that they're relevant to your customer, that they'll influence your customer's decision, which basically means they will open up the email. And that's really what you want them to do. And this is an article from HubSpot that you can use. What about online marketing? Because the reality is that we can't get away from online marketing. Creating a website is often the easy part. The next thing is you need to create an online marketing strategy. So some of the things that you need to be doing is identify what keywords you'd like to optimize your website for. So go and find a keyword tool out there that you can use. Go to Google and search the top 10 keyword tools and start looking at what people are searching for. When they are searching for your product, when they are searching for your services, what terms are they typing into Google? And then start putting content about those topics on your website. So the more you update your website, the better it is for you. And these are the type of things you need to do. The other thing you may decide is maybe this is the year that you're going to do a bit of Facebook advertising and Google advertising, whatever it is. Make a decision about what platforms you're going to use and be effective. And this is really, really key, that you become strategic when it comes to your online marketing. So here's a tool that you can use called SEM Rush. I'm a bit dyslexic there. But go and use a tool like this. You can type in your company name, and it'll tell you a whole lot of information about your website. And these are the type of things we need to be doing, because then we can come up with a plan. Then we can come up with a strategy. Then we can do something. Because when you don't know what to do, you are confused, which is often how you and I are small business owners. There's a whole lot of marketing tools that I've shared with you that you can use. Now, when it comes to customer service, I believe, and I really honestly and truly believe this, that you and I have got to become fanatical about providing excellent service. It's really key to the future success of our businesses, because things are getting very, very competitive. Not only did we always have these other companies that were competing against us, now we've got this online also, which, for some of us makes it really, really complicated. But I encourage you to become fanatical about this, offering brilliant customer service. Spend as much time as possible with your customers. And if your customers love you, they will refer you. And maybe that's one of your plans in 2018, is to ask your customers for referrals. It's really simple, but very, very effective. Then when it comes to your lead nurturing, one of the things you've got to come up with is a plan. Let's say, for example, I get 3 leads a week. Or let's say I go to a trade show and I get leads. One of the key things is, how do I capture these leads? And secondly, how do I nurture those leads? And thirdly, how do I sell to these people? And it's really, really key that you and I work on this, that we work on a strategy to capture information. We work on a strategy to regularly communicate with leads in our database. And then we work on how we're going to convert these people. And sometimes it's just about creating sales scripts so that you can communicate with people on a regular basis. And these are some of the things that we need to do. The final one, and one of the most important ones, is how much money are we going to spend on marketing, and how much time are we going to spend on marketing? And again, this is what I encourage you to do. When it comes to your marketing, allocate time every week that you are going to spend on marketing. That's the first thing. And if you've got budget, make sure that you spend money every single month to build your brand, because this is how we're going to grow our businesses. That's how we're going to add value to our businesses. Then we've got to make sure that we measure things. So how will you measure the success of your marketing tools? What are you going to be your key performance indicators? For example, you want to try and link a lead to a sale. You want to try and link $50 that you spent on Facebook to how many sales you generated. But it is really, really key that you set yourself some metrics. I want our Facebook page to have 2,000 likes. I want our email database to be 40,000 emails. I want whatever it is. The more specific you are, the better it is. So let me just summarize quickly again. So here's my advice to you, is that you use a template like I shared with you earlier on to manage your marketing in 2018. Start off by writing down exactly what your marketing objectives are. That's the starting point. The second thing is work out exactly by going through your database, now that you have the time, to identify your ideal customer. Which customers do you want to sell more to in 2018 is what your goal is. Third thing is go and check out your competitors. Go and visit their website. See how much they're charging. Look at their strengths, their weaknesses. Really understand your competitors. Come up with a value proposition. Or if you have one already, just refine it. Think about it. Why should people buy from you? Come up with marketing tools. Very, very simple, cost-effective marketing tools that you can use to grow your business. Focus on customer service. Think about this. How can I improve our customer service? Develop a lead nurturing strategy. How are we going to get these leads? And more importantly, how are we going to sell to these people? Set yourself budget. Measure the effectiveness of your marketing. And I believe if you do this in 2018, you're going to build a more successful business. And that is my wish for every single one of you, that you take this template, that you use this guideline, and you build a very, very successful business, that you create jobs and you achieve all your dreams. That is what I wish for every single one of you. But you need structure and you need a plan.